8.5 minutes gone by in our first heat of the 1650 women's freestyle. And we'll send it over to Pat with a very special guest here inside Spire Academy.
That's right, folks, here with the commissioner of the MAAC here at Spire for this swimming and diving championship. It's Travis Tellitocci here with me. Travis, you having a good event here at Spire?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. Obviously, first time being at this new facility, so I know the student athlete and coaches are really excited about the pool, and it's been a good event so far.
That's great. What do you make of the facilities coming out here for the first time?
Yeah, you know, obviously a little bit outside of our footprint being here in Ohio, but I think at the end of the day, when this arrangement was looked at, it was really about the facility and providing a great Division I championship experience. So Spire, obviously, with an unbelievable facility, not only for swimming, but a lot of other sports as well. So I think you're seeing from that standpoint a pool that's pretty fast. A lot of records have already dropped, and everybody's enjoyed it up to this point.
We hope to see some more records breaking tonight, and we could see that. A lot of events in the finals. That'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you don't miss it. And so we got a lot to cover. A couple new teams now have entered the MAAC conference. Is that right?
Yeah, so we've got MAAC and Sacred Heart, who will be joining us in July, on July 1st, 2024. So obviously excited about both of them coming into the league. You know, when we were looking at adding schools, those are two that really jumped to the top of our list, both from an athletic standpoint, but also academics as well. It was really important to our league to make sure that we were adding strong members who were investing in both academics and athletics. So they'll be here next year competing here at Spire, so really excited about them joining the league.
Is that a little bit of an announcement now that next year's championship will be at Spire?
We are. We're here at Spire for the next couple of years, so this year and then 2 more years after that, we're contracted to be here at Spire. So again, nothing but good feedback on the facility up to this point.
Great. Well, we'll take a seat behind us and we'll go a little bit more in depth. And here we are now. We'll take a look inside at the pool. Take a look at who's in first. The swimmers there. This long event here at the Swimming and Diving Championship. Who knows? Could see a winner come out of this heat. And that's why they swim them, folks. So we're here with Travis Tellitocci. Travis, you said there, beautiful impressions of the facility, and we're only using half the pool.
Yeah, you know, this is an event I would not be competing in.
Yeah.
a little too far for my blood, but no, obviously a really long event, swimming a mile, and I continue to be impressed by our student athletes on both the swimming and the diving side of this is really an endurance one, so hats off to them.
And so I gotta ask you, you mentioned that you definitely wouldn't choose this event to swim in, but I gotta ask, if you had to pick one event, what would you choose? Would it be the smallest distance one, or what would we go with? Maybe diving?
No, absolutely. Diving would not be for me. You know, I think definitely the shortest event, the up and back, the 50-yard free. I'm not a butterfly or a breaststroke person, so that would be the one that I would pick.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good stuff there. As we take a look back inside the pool now, that's over there in lane 8. We see Ashley Allaire competing mightily. First place right now, and she's been at first for the majority of this heat. We see Sydney Scalise there from Fairfield, and Fairfield really has put on a show here, especially in the women. They're near the top of the leaderboards. Fairfield really bringing it with a solid swim program. We've seen a lot of great things from Niagara, and really, you know, we have several schools here, but I think we've seen high finishes from every single one. That talks to the athletic success that every school brings.
Absolutely, and I was really impressed last night, to your point, of we had a lot of different records, different top finishes from a variety of schools. You know, I know Manhattan was in there, St. Peter's, Fairfield you mentioned, Ryder, Marist, Iona, so really strong across the board, Siena as well. So That's great to see that we've got parity within the league, and obviously teams are very competitive, and Canisius was in there for a couple of golds as well. So that's, as we sit in the conference office, that's a great thing to see.
And a compliment, if I may. Last night I was talking with Sean as they were presenting the awards, and something that both he and I have kind of been enamored with is the overall sportsmanship of the athletes, right? When it comes to the awards, we see it's a simple showing, right? But we see the second place victors going across the podium, shaking the hands of everyone, being very jovial. And I would say this is an event, I mean, obviously you want to see good sportsmanship, but at times there's maybe a couple guys who might take things a little far. We haven't seen that at all. It's been really a class act from these athletes so far.
It's a great observation, and I had the same one last night, and I said to one of our staff members that I was impressed with exactly that. I think you've got competitors in the pool and on the diving board, but during those medal ceremonies, you see the respect that they have for one another, and really, each student athlete congratulating one another on their accomplishments. So to your point, that's refreshing to see. I think at the end of the day, everybody's a competitor, but that's just as important as well, that sportsmanship side, and I think all of these student athletes and coaches have a tremendous amount of respect for one another.
Right, you mentioned the respect, and it's not to say there isn't passion, because you look at the end of an event and you see the victor pumping his fist, very happy, all of his hard work, it's finally paid off. But when he exits the pool, he shows that same level of decency and respect to his fellow members swimming in the lane next to him, or maybe the lane way down. Is just a standard of respect that we're seeing in the MAAC, and that's a beautiful thing to see in student athletes.
Absolutely, and I think you've got schools that have been very successful here, and swimming, Rider being one of those, has had kind of almost a dynasty for a number of years on the men's side. So yeah, I think while at the end of the day, everybody's trying to win a championship, there is that level of respect, and I think, again, student athletes really appreciate everybody's individual performances, because they know better than anybody how much work goes into this to get to this point.
No doubt. No doubt. So let's head back over to MAAC College and just refresh us now. They will be joining, and they will be joining at the same time as Sacred Heart University.
That's right, and MAAC is located in North Andover, Massachusetts, so just right outside of Boston.
Right there within the rest of the MAAC, really.
Absolutely. So it gets us into that Boston media market, which is great. We enter into the state of Massachusetts, which currently we don't have a member school in Massachusetts, so that's really great from an exposure standpoint and getting into a different footprint. And then Sacred Heart is right in Fairfield, Connecticut, so a stone throw away from the Fairfield University campus. So we're not only growing within the Boston metro area, but we're also strengthening our footprint within our own footprint of adding another school that is important, because as travel costs continue to climb and geography continues to expand with conference realignment, I think that's one of our best selling points within the league, is geographically we make a lot of sense.
Very well, very well. And so you did mention we will see both MAAC and Sacred Heart here at Spire next year. They both have swim programs, and they'll both be bringing them here to the Spire Institute?
Absolutely. So that was one of the reasons that this facility was very attractive, is as you look around at the deck, there's a lot of space, and that's something that is getting harder and harder to find in the Northeast. So as we grow as a conference and go from 11 schools to 13, there's a lot of flexibility within this facility to make sure that we can bring all of our student athletes to this championship. We don't limit the number of student athletes that each team can bring. So I think that's important as well from a competitive standpoint, that we're not turning any student athletes away.
Beautiful. As we take a look back at our leaderboard and continuing her dominance in the pool, lane 0, that's Sydney Scalise placing first still, and holding that lead by several seconds, as you see that from her, as this heat is nearing an end, as we're at 64 out of 66 laps for our leader. As Scalise, really just a couple more minutes left to go in this heat, a couple more laps to go, as we're here interviewing now on ESPN Plus the commissioner of the MAAC, Travis Tellitocci. And Travis, overall, what would you say for the MAAC hyper specifically? What puts the MAAC conference in a different light than other conferences, whether that be athletically, but also, more importantly, that academic value?
Yeah, I think as college athletics has seen a transformation over the last few years, I think as a conference, we're still dedicated to not only the athletic excellence, but the academic piece as well. And and I mentioned, as geography continues to change amongst other conferences, we make sense from that standpoint where we're not traveling far distance among our membership, that trying to cut costs down from a travel standpoint, and really putting the focus on, I think, what it needs to be, and that's that these are student athletes, and yeah, we adapt to name, image, and likeness and all of those different things, the transfer portal, but at the end of the day, it's still about the whole student athlete experience.
No doubt, as we see this first heat wind down, as it was Sydney Scalise placing first there from Fairfield. We mentioned the success of Fairfield, and to touch on Fairfield hyper specifically for just one moment, I would have to tell you, Travis, that it seems Fairfield has the most outgoing charisma, right? We see, you look down there, they have a championship belt with them, they have these cowboy hats that they wear, and they had these little stick ponies that they were riding up on the podium. Is that something you see in other sports and other events? Does Fairfield really bring that charisma with them wherever they go?
A lot of props for Fairfield. Definitely brought the energy this week, and have a lot of coordination, which is great. But I think as you see all the teams,
certainly
this is something that this is their Super Bowl. So
right.
The T-shirt designs I've been impressed with. Some of the different props that people have had. So I think swimming alone is a sport that has that culture of, they really get enthusiastic about this championship, which is great to see.
Phenomenal. So as we wind down here, Travis, tell us what's ahead in the year 2024 as far as athletically speaking, as we see this one wind down in lane 1. Give us one moment, Travis, on that, as Taryn Wrights from Canisius is finishing her swim now as the timers are out there, and that will complete it. We'll run through the order. Sydney Scalise finishing first. You see Ashley Allaire in lane 8 finishing second. It's Allie Bates finishing third from lane 4, Canisius. Megan Campbell, also Canisius, side by side there with the 4th place finish. And 5, you see Mia McDonald of Canisius as well. Canisius really dominating the top of that scoreboard, other than Fairfield, of course, taking top honors, and you see the splits and the times and the placement there. But as we were saying there, Travis, what's ahead for the sports calendar, if you will, for the MAAC here in 2024? We really just kicked off the year.
Yeah, we've got a busy couple of weeks coming up. Next week we head to New York City for our indoor track and field championship. So that's Saturday and Sunday. Obviously basketball season in full swing, and then we've got all of our Olympic sports starting as well. So men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, softball, baseball, all just kicked off, and water polo. So we've got all of our spring sports now up and running. Golf is a little later with their championship in April, and tennis will be later in April as well. But the big event that we've got coming up as well is our men's and women's basketball championships, which takes place at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. So that's something that we'll be looking forward to here at the second week of March, and all of our spring sports as well.
So a very busy time for the MAAC is what you're trying to say.
This is probably our busiest time of the year once this championship starts to kick off the winter, and then you go right into indoor track, and then right into basketball, and then it just continues from there. So this next stretch of February, March, April are probably our busiest months of the year.
Very nice, Travis. Well, this was wonderful talking with you. We thank you so much for taking a moment during the MAAC Swimming and Diving Championship. Will we see you next year right back here? Maybe? You don't know the schedule yet. I can't imagine you do. But we hope to see you back here. And if we do see you, maybe we'll get you back on next year, huh?
Absolutely. I try to get out to every championship. So definitely have enjoyed my time here in Geneva, and plan to be back next year.
Well, thank you so much, Travis. We'll step aside with Travis, and we'll get Sean back on. And once more, we just thank Travis Tellitocci there, the commissioner of the MAAC here during the Swimming and Diving Championships. We thank him one more time. As you take a look at the men swimming in the pool now, first place right now is Jack LaBianca, and let's take a quick gander at where they are at in the competition.